All right. So welcome, everyone. I'm so excited, so thrilled to welcome you today to this conversation with Jazz. And we are welcoming from Southwest England, we have Nikki Goodhew. And we're going to talk about so many magical things today. A little bit about oil potions, but especially about women on the rise and how to feel really good about yourself. So welcome, Nikki.
Hello, Jazz. Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me today.
I'm so thrilled to have you. So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from, your family.
Okay, well, originally I'm from Belfast in Northern Ireland. Not that you'd be able to tell now because of my accent disappearing. I live in Devon, as you say. I've lived in Devon for 15 years or so. I've always lived in the southwest, actually, which is quite nice. I have 3 grown-up children and 2 stepsons, and I'm married to a wonderful, wonderful man. And I married him actually nearly 5 years ago. Obviously, I'd been married before, and I married at my school, which turned into a wedding venue. So I had a magical, magical wedding. Nice. And then we went to the Maldives for our honeymoon. And the reason I mention all of that was because I celebrated my 50th birthday in the Maldives on my honeymoon. And it really just reinforced to me that anything is possible. And the love of a good man makes such a big difference in your life. So I feel very blessed and very grateful, and just wanted to share that with you.
Good. Thank you. And you're a nurse, right?
I am, yes. I'm very honoured and blessed to be a nurse, and I really enjoy it. I always feel that I take a holistic approach. The care that we give is person-centred anyway. It comes from the individual. But the holistic approach is there because I kind of literally see the whole person. And what I think adds to that a little bit more is the fact that I'm a Reiki practitioner as well. So I like to think that I have inside-outside care.
Right.
So literally the whole thing. And obviously it's very much to do with energy and the energy centers in our body. And that's just been kind of the icing on the cake for me. It's only 2 or 3 years since I became a Reiki practitioner. Used it an awful lot for myself to start with, and then people in my care and my family, and even my cat.
Yes.
Excellent. So
Reiki is good on everything.
I think so. Yeah, it's really gentle, harmonizing treatment. It's something very special about it. So going back to the coaching, I really did feel that over the last few years I had worked with myself, and I moved into this area which I called sacral soul, relating to the sacral chakra, and kind of the power seat, I believe, for women in terms of creativity and passion and pleasure.
Yes. And
I had a huge awakening with that because I hadn't realized that creativity and passion and pleasure were so linked. It kind of made an awful lot of sense to me. But what I'm trying to say is that I felt that the work I had done over the last 2 years certainly was really important, but mainly for me,
right,
rather than for other people, in order to get me to the place that I am now.
Good. And I think that even in the ancient Greeks, they discovered that, right? Because isn't it one of the Greek sayings, it says, healer, heal thyself?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that was Socrates, wasn't it? It's either Socrates or Aristotle, one of the
one of those.
Yeah, one of the greats. Absolutely, yeah, definitely. I think it was Socrates actually. So yeah, that's spot on, and I think that's very important, and that's really been the foundation of my work moving forward. And this kind of new phase for me, I've called the work that I'm doing, or the company, SAL. Lots of S's, lots of E's, quite a lot of alignment there. So it's ESSE, little dash L. And the whole reasoning behind that is SA means to be, and L obviously relates to a woman. And it's really about to be she. Because I think the foundational pieces that are sometimes missing is that in order to really move forward, you have to do the work on yourself first. And the self-love piece is something that a lot of people pay lip service to, but it's so critical. and we're so rubbish at doing it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because as mothers particularly and carers, we'll
Mm-hmm.
put other people ahead of ourselves. You know, the whole analogy of the oxygen mask in the airplane is the perfect example, but
Mm-hmm.
it really is true. And I think a lot of people fall into the camp of feeling that they're not enough. I call them the not enougers.
Yes.
And that could be anything to do with they're not good enough with their job, they're not pretty enough, they don't earn enough. You know, there's so many things pushed on people because of society.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I've realized that you can find a place where you're at peace with, and that everything is absolutely okay. There's, you know, you're not living a life dictated by other people. You're coming from your own foundation, your own creativity, your own purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, you can just move forward into a lovely place where it's not that you don't care what other people think. It's just that you're so grounded and positive and confident with your abilities that you can move through it without it derailing you or sabotaging you. So that's kind of where I'm centering all my work on, because I think it's critical
It
for
is.
women particularly to get to this place.
It is. And I do see a lot of that in my practice as well. Women who have a lot of shame, a lot of the not good enough. So many of us are perfectionists. I would say, well, I just want things to be perfect, but that really hides the because I'm not good enough piece.
Yes, absolutely. You're so
And it
right.
stops women in their tracks when they try to develop their business, when they try to have a better relationship, because there's always that weight of not being enough, not doing enough. And it's such a detractor. So that is just wonderful that you're giving this gift to the women you work
Yeah,
with.
thank you. And it's not really attributed to any particular age group, because I think it needs to be kind of from 30s all the way through to 50s, 60s and 70s and beyond. Because the other thing that I've noticed in my work is that women particularly, because they have emptied their cup so much to other people, that when they get that point in their life where maybe not, obviously not everybody has children, but maybe the children leave. We're just coming up to that this year ourselves. My third child will be going to university. There's a lot of people, because they've just emptied that cup and they've given of themselves so much, that when they get to that stage, they're like a shadow of their former self. They're kind of slightly bereft, because they were doing all this. They hung their label of mother and main person that does everything up so high that once they weren't needed anymore, they didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
So in that case, I think one of the most beautiful ways of reconnecting with self is your creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And that lovely thing of remembering what it was you did as a girl, that you lost all sense of time with. You know, your mum or dad would be shouting for you to come to dinner and you hadn't heard them because you were so absorbed with this kind of thing. And it doesn't always work through that it would be that, but it might be something to do with that. But it's kind of reconnecting with that. And I think creativity is a wonderful thing to bring us back to who we really are. Yeah. And that's the other thing with being she, or to be she with SAL, is it's really focusing on the real person, uncovering your truth, and just kind of being really happy with that.
Yeah. And in the magical world, we call that connecting with your essence.
Essence is a lovely word. Yeah. Really beautiful word.
Yeah, going back to the essence of you. And I know from the work that I do with the women as well, when you can go back to that essence of you, it tends to dissipate a lot of the depression and the sadness that we might feel, because we need to reinvent ourselves. We see, who am I now that I'm not a mother 24/7? Who am I now that I'm retired and I don't have a job to go to? And as difficult as it can be, as challenging as it can be, it's also a gift, I think, because it's a new adventure. It's a new rediscovery of the self. in a deeper way, because you don't see yourself in your 40s and your 50s the same way as you did in your teens or in your 20s.
Yeah, that's so true as well. And yes, you're so right. It's so exciting, so positive, because you've got this huge new lease of life. And it may well be that you have a partner, and that there's all kinds of things that can be kind of shaken up a little bit with that. And so, but I mean, as I say, it's not really designed to go out to that age group. It just happens to be my age group. But I think the beauty of this is working with younger women in their 30s, so they don't actually get to that stage.
Yes.
So it's more preventative than curative, if you see what I mean.
Yes.
So yeah, it's great fun. It's really good.
Good. It's great when you can love your job so much, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, it absolutely lights me up. And you know, it's interesting, because I know we're going to go on and talk about multi-level marketing, but there's a link that I wanted to kind of share with you with regard to that, because it's really important to love what you do. And I do love, you know, being a nurse, etc. But when people kind of do the multi-level marketing, oh my God, that's awful, I think it's kind of an innate response, and there's a little bit of ignorance there. And I think part of the thing that I feel that we need to do is we need to expose this, and we need to help teach people what's really going on and how it works. And clearly there are some companies out there that everybody's driving Ferraris and everybody's skimming off everybody else. But for me, in making a choice moving forward, it became very important that the business was conscious. It was a conscious living business. And what I mean by that is that purpose and passion and people were the three main P's, the main three P's. And that profit would be a side effect of those three. That would come anyway. Whereas I feel a lot of companies teeter on putting profit before everything, particularly their people. Going back to the multi-level marketing, I work in a situation where I have a couple of bosses up here, and then I have managers, and then there's a big workforce down here of us that do the hour by the, you know, the pound by the hour job every single day. Now, when you look at that, that is a pyramid.
It is. It certainly is. It's the same thing in the government.
it's you know, the business model out there is a pyramid. But the key point is the fact that if I don't go to work, I don't get paid my hourly rate. If I'm off sick, I don't actually get paid my hourly rate. So I have to be pretty much present in order for this model to work for me. I'm not suggesting that I'm not present in anything else, but the way that multi-level marketing really, really works is that you have an opportunity to maybe buy into something for around about £200, you know, literally UK pounds. And with that, you've got all the marketing, all the support, all the training, all the resources, all the people around you that can nurture and support you, that you can build a business and do something that you love and that you are totally in control of, and that you're the boss for £200. And when you actually think about that, that is crazy. In fact, it's insane not to do it.
It is. It is. And I just want to backtrack a little bit, put that into context, because you do have your coaching career. And then you also join, it's a doTERRA, essential oils, which supports that. And it is something that I do recommend to all the coaches, the healers or Reiki practitioners out there, is that having that residual income and building that, it helps us serve at an even higher level.
Yeah, absolutely, Jazz, you're so right, and that's why I'm here in doTERRA. Not only because it is just the most tremendous company, and I'll come back to the oils and how they've changed my life in a minute, but the fact that there is such an incredible business opportunity to literally share and change people's lives, because you're empowering people to make health choices themselves and their families that literally put them back in the driving seat so they can take control. Here in the UK, our national health system is literally on its knees, and we still have so many people that feel that they've got to walk down to the GP, or I've got to ring the GP. They're looking constantly to other people to answer their problems and provide solutions. It's like they've been brainwashed into that's the way it works, when really, you know, there's so much empowerment in taking that choice to make your own decision and look at a range of options and get a range of support and do that yourself, and provide your own solution. So sorry, that was my diffuser just going on, but I just think that's incredibly powerful. So that's the other reason why I've chosen to work with doTERRA, because they are providing the purest, most potent, safest essential oils in the best circumstances in the world. And I really want to be part of that. I want to make that help support other people to change their lives. And the crossover for me on coaching is that these oils support women moving forward, being themselves, you know, just having that self-love, taking decisions, making the right choices, having the energy, helping their child, you know, a child that's maybe had a really bad cold or has asthma, rather than reaching for the steroid, that I know a lot of mothers really have a real problem with making that decision, because it's not an easy drug to deal with and it has long-term effects. How wonderful to put some Breathe, which is one of our lovely blends, into a diffuser, and rub it really gently on a child's chest and very quickly see a change in that child. How wonderful is that to do? That's what drives me, because I think so many people can do that.
I wish I knew about that when my son was 1, because he had asthma as a baby. And I thought so many times that he was going to die, that he was not going to make it. It was turning blue, and we had to go to the hospital to get his oxygen count up. So probably like with that severity of asthma, I still need the medical system. We're not saying at all to like stop seeing the doctor.
No, not at all.
Not at all. But it's to support that and to have the prevention.
It's a combination of them both. You know, you have to make really, really empowered choices, but they can support each other hand in hand. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It depends on the condition and it depends on the situation. And at the end of the day, these beautiful oils are enhancing and boosting and supporting and nurturing. They're not necessarily making a clinical you know, change. They could be, but they're not necessarily. But it's the fact that it's not just the reaction to the clinical side of it, it's the emotional side that they have an effect with as well, which is so empowering. So all round, you know, talking about that holistic thing, that's why it works so beautifully. Again, it's an inside out therapy that you can take ownership of yourself.
And it works so much. So how are you using oils in your daily life? You mentioned that your diffuser was just going off. So what's in your diffuser today?
Balance. I like balance.
Beautiful.
I have something different every day if I'm here, because obviously sometimes I have my nurse hat on, but if I'm here, today's balance, because I just thought that would be just a really grounding, kind of leveling out but elevating at the same time. It's a beautiful smell. There's always something going. There's more than one as well.
Yes.
In the house. But trying to decide which oil is my favorite is a little bit like asking which is my favorite child.
I hear you.
And there's so many, gosh, but yeah, there's lots and lots of reasons. I have just literally got some Slim and Sassy yesterday for the first time, and I'm really enjoying that, because up until that point I was drinking a lot of water through the day with either a lemon or a wild orange.
Mm-hmm.
And then the slim and sassy, well, because it's a metabolic blend and it's, you know, doing all the diuretic and settling your tummy and giving you a little boost of energy and a lift, as well as kind of taking the sugar cravings away, and no sugar. It's fab. So really, really good. Got a kind of special spot for frankincense.
Oh,
Love
yes.
that. But my two favorites are Passion and Peace, the emotional blends.
Yes.
And I actually wear them as perfume because I just love the combination of oils in them. So, and but my husband, he takes peppermint most mornings because he gets quite a lot of indigestion. My 17-18-year-old not great at sleeping, so he's been having lavender on his soles of his feet, and that's made quite a difference to him. So there is literally something for everyone.
There is, and that is the beauty. And to me, I find it really reconnects to that. The witch and the good sense of being a witch when you know what herbs, what potions to use, and it's not like the Shakespearean potions and toil and bubble, but it's really potions to make your life better. And
absolutely, I so get that. So I always, for that one, I've got my little container with my little tiny vials, and I always feel like I'm doing some kind of potion thing. I have actually. But you know, what can I say?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's magic in a really great way. Yes. So that's the best way to describe that.
It is. It's alchemy, and that is, to me, like the true definition of magic. It's not about the tricks. It's not about the showing off, but it's really making an impact through the alchemy process.
Yeah, definitely, and just sharing it and letting people have a little try, because it's one of those things it's obviously you can make a decision without trying, and a lot of people do, but you know, if you have something with you that someone can just try, it's kind of job done, because the product leads the way. The products are so fantastic. And the other thing for me is that I haven't really 100% got into the products yet. I've got some On Guard whitening toothpaste coming. I do like On Guard. I think it's got a really big place in healthcare in terms of sanitization for hands, and that just general keeping your immune system up in an area where people's immune system's down and there's lots of bugs going around. But I would also, for me, from the family point of view, I would consciously like to move away from using any chemicals at all in the house. And it's not an overnight process. It will take some time, but there is the opportunity to do that. I can use On Guard with washing detergents and cleaning with lemon and all kinds of things. And you know, I intend to do that. Not to mention all the, you know, the skincare and shampoos and conditioners as well. And I'd quite like to have a go at making my own too. So
I made my own deodorant with the baking soda and a couple of essential oils, and it's the best. It is the best I've ever had in my whole life. So it really, really works.
Wow. How do you manage to not get the white kind of powdery bit under your arm then if you're using baking soda?
Yeah, it's baking soda and the coconut oil, and it doesn't become white so much. Sometimes there's a little bit of oil that you can see, so you just need a little bit more of the dish soap to get the oil out when you wash the clothes. But
oh, that's so cool. I might have to get the recipe off you for that, Jazz.
Sure. So I will post it once we have the video, so people can look down, go to the Teachable platform. That's Mystic Priestess School, teachable.com. And I will put the recipe there for you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And maybe we can add another recipe or two for the cleaning, like the countertop cleaning with the On Guard, because there has been research on that saying that using On Guard is better than a lot of the chemical products available out there in terms of really killing the bacteria so that it doesn't come back.
Amazing, isn't it? And the same, this thinking of that, the other one as well is oregano or oregano,
Yes.
as other people might say, across the pond there. But I have got it. It's one that I hadn't really come across before. Maybe a little bit in cooking in the past, but it's very intense and very strong. But a lot of research going into oregano to show that it could have amazing properties to get rid of viruses and bacteria. I mean, that itself could be life-changing. I know that we've got a lot of PhD, lots and lots of very eminent doctors with doTERRA working at head office. And there's a lot of research going on at the moment with regard to the effects of oregano. So, you know, watch this space, because that could be very interesting. We have a big problem here with norovirus and MRSA in the UK, two strains that just nobody can really get rid of those now. So they're starting to have a look and see what effects this amazing oil might have with that, and that's exciting. That's really exciting.
That is exciting. I know for myself, using the On Guard when I had the cold and the flu over the Christmas season, my symptoms were cut in third from someone who did not take any oils, and the symptoms lasted 2.5, 3 weeks. My symptoms lasted maybe 3 days.
That's great.
And that is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we can't say that it will get rid of flu, but there is a really lovely mix. I think that it's like On Guard, oregano, lemon, peppermint, and there's one more. I have a link to that as well, which I can send to you.
I think there's some
a lot of people are talking about at the moment, because the flu problem here in the UK is really, you know, I think there's something like just under 4,500 or 5,000 people have been, you know, admitted in recent months, and that's scary. You know, we're going really towards an epidemic and people dying from it. So not that this can, you know, stop that, but it may just derail it. You never know, and it's worth a try, particularly if you've got elderly folk or youngsters, you know. So all these things are really important, aren't they?
Yeah, and the same thing with Reiki, right? When you practice Reiki, and then when you put oils on your hands or oils on yourself and you practice Reiki over that, it really like quintuples the power of the oils and the Reiki as it goes through you. And the healing graph with the Reiki is that it shortens the symptoms. So it doesn't mean that you will never, ever, ever get ill again, but at least if your symptoms are just like a little hump like this, instead of being a big peak like that,
it can level it out.
It's miraculous.
Yeah, that's great. That's really, really good. Really good.
Wow, so we talked about so many things, talked about our passion for doTERRA and the products, I'm sure, is shining through. Your wonderful practice with a compassion coming through nursing, and then your transition between businesses through your career, because it's not the first time that you change and you move and you create and you reinvent yourself. So tell me, what would your top tips be for women like you who want to transition from maybe like a job to more of an entrepreneurship?
That's a really great question. I think I would say initially, don't give up the day job. Now, the only reason that I'm raising that is because I actually did do that myself. And I'm very enthusiastic, I'm very driven, and that passion kept me going for quite some time when I'd given up my job. But because of the nature of the coaching I was doing at the time, I had some really beautiful packages that all of a sudden came to the end, because they do, you know, they were 12-month packages, and I'd been enjoying the work so much that I hadn't really been getting into the hustle, so to speak, of getting new clients coming through, and didn't ever really want to do that. I feel very different about that now, because I don't feel that there's a hustle mentality going on. I feel that I have something important to say, I have something more important to deliver, and it's kind of a gift. And I feel that what's happening now is I'm attracting the right people to me, rather than that fear of having to literally go out and stand on the street and call people in, because you know that happens. So because I hadn't really got that, if somebody had been with me at that time, I think I would have taken their advice that I could have remained in the job that I was doing, which incidentally at that time was part-time, and really built the business and had some foundation there at the same time. Because the way I see it now with my nursing work, is that I'm very grateful for the nursing allowing me to invest my time and money in my business. Because if I didn't do that, I couldn't do the other.
Right.
And then there's two other things I think as well. I think you need to go with the flow a little bit and cut yourself some slack. A lot of people get very worried at the beginning when they start businesses that they need to know everything, they need to have that qualification, they need to do that training. Who am I to stand there and say this and that? It doesn't matter, because you just have to start where you're at and take some action. You don't need to do the big scary things. You need to do small little steps that make you feel really comfortable. If you're scared or you're in that kind of negative vibe, that low vibe, you're going to give that out to people. So you're much happier and much better at being in a place of acceptance, maybe in a place of self-love where you're actually quite kind to yourself and you nurture and give yourself the time to prepare properly, physically, mentally, and from your soul, that you're in the right space, making sure your environment's right, making sure the people around you are the right people for you, there's no toxicity there. All these things take a little bit of time to come together, but they're kind of essential. You don't need to focus on making a sale or really getting to the next stage in your business. You need to do the work on you. That would be the top tip. And I think that's why the self-care and the nurturing that I do within SAL is very important, because you need those pieces first.
Yes.
And then you come from a place of strength and empowerment to take your business to the next level.
Yep. I totally agree. And thank you for sharing that. Those are beautiful, beautiful tips. So empowering for the women. And it's a new way of doing business.
Absolutely. And I like very much what you said earlier, Jazz, about residual. That's the other reason why I'm in this business with DoTERRA, is because our pension system, again, in the UK is pretty rubbish. I know that it's nothing to rely on for the future. I would say I have a shorter window maybe than most people, and I'm aware of that. And I see this as my legacy, as my pension, as my ability to be able to work from anywhere that I need to work, and work with my husband too, because he will eventually join me in the business, and secure our future and the future of our 5 combined children by having that flexibility of an income that's generated whether I'm there or not. I can go to New Zealand for 3 weeks and still be making money. That would be the idea, and that's what I'm working towards, and that is terribly exciting, really exciting, and I want that for other people, because it's possible.
It is possible. Absolutely. So if people want to know more about you and the work that you do in the world, how can they reach you? And I will put a bunch of links again under the video and on the Teachable platform. But if you can mention a few links right here, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
I guess just to go to SAL. So it's www.elle-uk. So sal.uk. And then there's also the email, which is Nikki at sal.uk. Those are probably the 2 main ones. I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Twitter. I can read those out to you, but it's probably better just to put them in the link below. But certainly the best place to go is to the website, because it will give you a little bit more information. So, it's very important for me to connect with people and to build a relationship. It was the other thing that was the other reason that I've chosen to be with doTERRA, is because in the past I have worked very much alone as a coach in my office here, and doing my own thing, thinking, well, this is great, I love this, you know, it's really nice, but it can be quite lonely. And it wasn't necessarily, you know, I'm a people's person. That's the other reason I like being a nurse as well. I like chatting and, you know, just being with people and getting that vibe from people. And this has been a really enlightening experience for me, because it was my missing piece, the community. So with DoTERRA, I belong to Unicorn Elixir Sorceresses. Here we go back to the magic again. And that is just the coolest group of women. I don't believe we've got any men. There's about 100 of us, but where there's many teams, there's other teams as well. This is just like a melting pot of holistic, caring entrepreneurs that cannot do enough to help you. Now, where on earth do you get that? No one would get, you know, you don't find that very often. So, for example, I can put a question out, you know, about the flu epidemic, you know, potentially. I wanted to know what blends people thought were working well, what their experience was, because I hadn't had that experience. And within a couple of seconds, I get a response from 2 or 3 of the girls saying, try this, try that. Just so supportive, particularly by Lexi D'Angelo, who's our main leader, and so supported by everybody. I just recently bought a whole new load of tarot cards because somebody had mentioned it. So it's sharing information. There are so many trainings and resources in there that 24 hours a day is not enough.
Yeah, I know.
So, you know, there's that the community is great. And for me, it's on the other side of the world, which is super cool. And actually works quite well timing wise, because you just get into your routine that, like for you, Jazz, at the moment it's like 9 to 10 o'clock in the morning. And obviously it's kind of 2, 3 here, so you just kind of get into your stride of working in different segments of the world. So the community is wonderful. You may be your own boss. You may walk into this opportunity and think, this is awesome, but I'm going to be alone. I'm not sure how I function. You will never ever be alone.
Not
and if you're someone that wants to be alone, this is not the business for you. So I think it's really, really crucial to put that across. You can decide what you can do. You don't need to join all the groups. You don't need to join all the webinars. You know, for us, this isn't about going to lots of meetings. The world's changed, and so much of it is online. Yes, you need to get out there and be speaking to people, but there's loads of ways to do that. Loads of people that have done it before, and lots of people that are giving you hints and tips how to do that. So you are never alone, and that is really, really important. That alone is one of the reasons to join DoTERRA and to join this group, because it's fabulous.
It is fabulous, and what I love about it is that there is no competition between us, like my line is better than your line, because like both you and I are under a different leader. I mean, you know, it's part of the same family, but it still is, there's never a competition about like, we'll keep this for us and that'll be for, it's just everybody is together, just working together, just loving together and sharing our gifts. Like you bring a lot of your resources about the nursing and that medical community, where other people bring the tarot knowledge, the Reiki knowledge, the crystal knowledge, and all of that. We just put that together with the moon and the stars and the zodiac. And we just build something that is divinely feminine, divinely empowering, and life-changing. And just for being in the group, being in this vibe is life-changing. And I'm just inviting everybody to join this Unicorn Elixir.
Absolutely. And the other thing to add is that our leader is Lexi D'Angelo. I've mentioned her already, and Lexi in her own right is already a very, very successful coach, a really successful coach, and a beautiful human being. And she imparts that information and knowledge to us for free.
For free. Instead of being
charged thousands of dollars, thousands of pounds. if someone was to work for her.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, it's not a reason to join, but it's certainly one of them, because this is all about personal development. Jazz and I have already spoken about this. Is about personal development. It's about pushing you up to your next level of your better version.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, you sometimes need to have someone who's already been there before you to show you the way. I mean, that's really what coaching is literally about.
Yes.
But the other thing about this group is that it is women literally helping other women. It's women putting their hands down so other people can walk on them to get up the steps. That's the best way to describe it. Now, a lot of people, particularly for me, thinking back, I've had years in recruitment and in retail and in the National Health Service. And historically, most of those places are women-led organisations. And let me tell you, there's a hell of a lot of bitchiness and backstabbing in that all the time. So what's different here is these women have kind of stepped into their power of the divine feminine. They realize that it's not just about giving, it's about receiving too. It's about the being a divine feminine. It's about working together. You know, we all want to essentially grow and contribute. Those are our two most important needs, well, for most people anyway. And this community gives you the opportunity to be able to do that, because contribution is just such a heartfelt thing when you can make a difference in someone else's life without expectation of anything in return. And that's what's so beautiful. So, I could go on about it forever.
Yes, and I think we'll just wrap it at that. Hopefully people can feel this passion, this love that we have for the community, for the doTERRA, for the oils, and how well it complements all other areas of our lives. So the coaching you do, the type of coaching I do with the Reiki, the healing, it's just, it works together hand in glove to make people feel better and ultimately to make the world a better place. Because when woman rises and when woman is happy, the world around her is typically happy too.
Absolutely. And that's a really lovely point to finish on, because that's kind of the ethos that I work SAL from. It's for women on the rise. And what I really mean by that is people that have had enough, that might have hit rock bottom and are just ready to bounce up. Think of yourself as a bubble in a champagne glass. Those are the kind of women for me that I want to work with. People that have just got to the point that they're just like, right, I'm ready. Bring it on. Give me what I need. I'm ready. Because I'm not available any longer. In the past, I've pulled people through situations and tried to help talk them into something that, you know, they weren't ready for. I'm not available for that anymore. I want to be meeting people where they're at, because they are on the rise and they just need a platform, a journey, a pathway in order to go. And my job is to facilitate that. That's literally what I'm there to do. So that's really cool. And the other thing that I wanted to just quickly mention was about the the March motivation planner, which I want to give to people, because that's a little bit fun. I know we've just entered February, but from now on we know the months are just going to fly. So it's just keeping that momentum. January got off to a great start. February is obviously going to be full of love and wonderful things. And March motivation is just like a little planner with 31 days of ideas for you to kind of do on maybe Instagram or whatever. You don't necessarily need to be in business. It could be that you just fancy rebranding yourself, having a little bit of fun, doing a project, reconnecting with family and friends that you haven't spoken to. So it's not just about being a businesswoman, it's about being a woman. And it's just a little bit of fun. So I'm really happy to give it to our viewers today as a little gift.
Thank you. And it will be, again, on the Teachable platform. So if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, just link back to the Teachable platform. You'll be able to download the motivation planner, the recipes that we talked about for cleaning your house, for doing your own deodorant, a few of the tips on how we use the oils in our everyday, and of course information on how to reach us and on that wonderful, wonderful Unicorn Elixir Sorceress team that we can't stop raving about.
We can't.
Yeah.
So good. Jazz, I'm so grateful for you today for sharing this this moment with me. You know, it's lovely. It's a lovely feeling to be able to talk passionately about something that lights you up so much. So I'm really grateful for that opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me. I love these time travel pieces where I can transport myself through my imagination in the UK, and I have some other lovely women from the Unicorn Elixir I will be speaking with later in California, in all around the world. And really, I'm looking forward to getting to know more women around the world, women on the rise, women ready to shine, women who know they don't fit into the traditional model and who are ready to really step into the divine feminine and that way of operating, which is so much more empowering and loving and based on cooperation.
Wonderful.
And,
well, your YouTube channel and your Teachable platform are just the perfect vehicles in order to get that word out. So fantastic. It'd be really lovely to see how everything just kind of moves and is so positive for you. So so exciting. So exciting.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for your time. And we'll see you soon in the Team Unicorn Elixir groups.
Okay. Thank you, Jazz. Thank you.